72 hours underwater. The true story of Harrison Okeen's fight to survive. Imagine being 30 meters below the ocean's surface. Alone, in total darkness, with limited air, and realizing that everyone else on your ship has died. This is the unbelievable true story of Harrison Okeen, a ship's cook from Nigeria, who somehow survived 72 hours inside a sunken vessel. In May 2013, the tugboat JASCON-4 capsized during a storm off the coast of Nigeria. Out of the 12 crew members, only Harrison made it out alive. As the boat went down, he found himself trapped in a small air pocket, barely the size of a closet. For 3 whole days, he survived with the little oxygen left, surrounded by freezing seawater up to his chest, and complete darkness. No food. No light. No sign of hope, until a rescue diver came looking for bodies. But what they found was shocking. Harrison was still alive. The rescue footage went viral. When the diver reached out and Harrison grabbed his hand, the diver freaked out, because nobody expected to find a living person down there. This story isn't just about luck. It's about staying calm, holding on to hope, and the insane strength of the human will to survive against all odds. Today, Harrison lives a quiet life, but he'll never forget those 72 longest hours of his life.
They called me strange, but I was a mother, a working woman, and a soul just trying to survive. Grace McDaniels was born in 1888 and lived with a rare facial condition that made her the subject of whispers and stares. But behind that face was a heart bigger than the world ever cared to see. In the 1930s, when society closed its doors to anyone who looked different, Grace found work in a traveling show, not for fame, but just to make a living. She earned a steady income at a time when most women couldn't, especially women like her. Every dollar she made went toward her children. She didn't ask for pity, only dignity. She wasn't looking for attention, just a chance. Grace quietly raised her family with strength and love, never letting the cruelty of the world define her worth. People who met her remembered her kindness, her calm strength, and her quiet determination to be more than just something to look at. Grace wasn't just a woman with a rare condition, she was a woman with courage. Her story reminds us that real beauty isn't about how you look, but how you live, how you love, and how you keep going even when the world tells you not to. Let's remember her not for how she looked, but for how she lived. There was once a boy in Japan. He wasn't smart, he was often sick, and not exactly good looking either. In class, he always sat in the very back because he was scared the teacher might call him to the front. Every day, he helped his dad at their small repair shop for farm machines in the village of Kamyo, in the Shizuko district. At just 8 years old, he rode his bicycle 14 kilometers, just to see an airplane up close. At 15, he dropped out of school and started working at a machine shop called Harry Shokai Company. By the age of 21, he was trusted to open a branch office. Thanks to his hard work, the business grew fast. But he wasn't satisfied, he wanted more. So, he quit and started his own repair shop. He began making piston rings. Unfortunately, Toyota rejected his designs. They said they didn't meet the standards. People laughed at him, mocked him. He got sick from the stress and disappointment. But once he recovered, he decided to go to college to learn more. Sadly, he dropped out again. He just couldn't finish. He kept trying and failing. Again and again. Then in 1947, after the war, Japan was in ruins. His life hit rock bottom. He even had to sell his beloved car just to survive. That moment became the turning point. He had one bicycle left. So he attached a small motor to it. And surprisingly, people loved it. Many wanted to buy one. So he made more and more of them. His business took off. Soon, he moved into car production, and eventually built a global empire. He became a legendary figure. His name, Soichiro Honda. Yes, the founder of Honda. He once said, "People only see me now, standing among a line of cars and success. But what they don't see is that this is only 1% success. The other 99% is failure. And most people don't want to see that part. They don't see the struggle behind the scenes. The hardship, the failures, the pain of being mocked, bullied, betrayed, and underestimated." And one more quote from him. "Study what you do, and do what you study." Back in the 1940s, during World War II, gasoline was super hard to find. So people had to get creative. One of the wild but genius solutions. Running cars on wood. Yep, you heard that right. In some parts of Europe, folks used something called a gasifier, basically a machine that turns wood into gas. And that gas could actually power a car engine. In this photo, you can see a man filling up his car, not with fuel from a gas station, but with firewood. It might look strange now, but back then, it totally made sense. Sometimes, the craziest ideas come from the toughest times. This isn't just an old black and white photo. It's a raw glimpse into the harsh realities of life in late 19th century China. Taken by John Thomson, a Scottish photographer who traveled through Asia starting in 1868, the photo shows a prisoner forced to wear a heavy wooden punishment collar used for public humiliation during the Qing dynasty. Thomson didn't just capture grand temples and beautiful landscapes, he turned his lens toward the darker side of society, poverty, punishment, and the everyday struggles of ordinary people. His work gives us a rare window into the past, and today, photos like this can fetch up to £20,000, around 400 million rupiah, at auctions. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about kings and wars, but also about regular people and the suffering they endured. Around the same time this photo was taken, a massive wave of migration from China began. Thousands of people, mostly from the southern regions, left their homes due to poverty, conflict, and political chaos. One of their main destinations, the Indonesian archipelago. There, they worked as plantation laborers, traders, or craftsmen. In this new land, they formed communities that eventually gave rise to the unique Peranakan culture, a blend of Chinese and local traditions that still shapes Indonesia's social and economic history today. Stucky, the hunting dog mummified inside a tree. Back in the 1980s, a group of loggers in southern Georgia, USA, stumbled upon something truly bizarre inside the trunk of an old chestnut oak tree. As they were cutting through the massive wood, they noticed the shape of what looked like a dog. But not just bones, the whole body was still there. Turns out, it was the naturally mummified remains of a hunting dog, later nicknamed Stucky. Experts believe Stucky ended up inside the tree sometime in the 1960s while chasing prey. Unfortunately, the tree narrowed as it went up, trapping him inside. With no way to back out or escape, Stucky died stuck in place, but that's where his strange story really begins. The inside of the tree created the perfect environment for natural mummification. The air was dry and well ventilated, which helped prevent decay. Plus, the oak wood contained tannic acid, a natural preservative that slowed down microbial growth and preserved the dog's body. The result, Stucky's remains stayed intact for decades, like nature hit the pause button. After the discovery, the loggers donated the section of the tree containing Stucky to the Southern Forest World Museum in Waycross, Georgia. Ever since, Stucky has been one of the museum's most popular and fascinating exhibits. Even though his story is tragic, Stucky is an amazing example of how nature can pull off unexpected wonders. He's not just a curiosity for visitors, he's also a reminder of how powerful natural preservation can be, and how even the quietest parts of a forest might be hiding incredible secrets. The Boy in the Box, a chilling mystery finally solved. On February 25, 1957, the body of a young boy was found inside a cardboard box in the Fox Chase area of Philadelphia. He was estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old, with visible injuries on his head and body, signs of physical abuse. He was naked, wrapped only in a worn blanket, and severely underweight, malnourished. There was no ID, and no missing child report that matched his description. A frozen mystery. Police and locals spread the word everywhere. His face was printed on thousands of posters and even water bills to reach as many people as possible. But nothing came of it. Over the years, theory after theory popped up. Maybe he was killed by his family, maybe he was a victim from an orphanage, or perhaps he was kidnapped. But none of the leads ever panned out. Identity revealed, 2022 *. In 2022, modern DNA tech and genealogical research finally cracked the case. Philadelphia police announced that the boy had been identified as Joseph Augustus Zarelli *, born on January 13, 1953. He was 4 years old when he died. How was he identified? Police teamed up with forensic and genetic genealogy experts, using the same kind of methods that solved the Golden State Killer case. They extracted DNA from Joseph's well-preserved remains and matched it with data from family tree sites like GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA. After piecing together a complicated family tree, they found a match: his biological parents. Who were his parents? The names of his parents weren't made public to protect the family's privacy, especially since they're either still alive or only recently passed away. Police did say the parents were never married, and Joseph came from a family with ties to Philadelphia. It also appears that he was never officially registered at birth. Is the killer known? So far, police haven't said who killed Joseph or how he ended up in such a heartbreaking state. The case is still under investigation. But now, with his identity known, there's new hope. The police have a name, a family background, and a clearer starting point. Why does this case matter? This is one of the most well-known unidentified child cases in the U.S. The 65-year wait for a name became a symbol of persistence, both from law enforcement and the power of modern forensic science. It's also a tragic reminder of how some children can be missing from society long before they disappear physically.